Not all kindness is affection. Not every smile is sincere. And not every story begins with a warning. Some arrive to applause and end in silence. He was vulnerable. She seemed to be everything he needed. In a town where everyone knows everyone, it's easy to trust too much. And when a connection is too fast, you don't see what you should. This is the story of someone who dived in deep without knowing where he would land. And by the time he found out, he was already hurt. If you've ever felt you were in a relationship that was too intense, too soon, stay with us until the end. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share this video with someone who needs to wake up before the ground disappears beneath them. I was getting used to being alone, not by choice, but out of exhaustion. After everything that happened with my father and the end of my last relationship, I had sort of accepted the idea that maybe it just wasn't meant for me. My father got sick too fast. By the time we realized what was happening, he was already fading. I took care of him until the very end, and when he was gone, it felt like a piece of me had gone with him. Small towns are like that. Word spreads, everyone has an opinion. So, when someone new arrives, it's as if the air itself changes. She showed up at the supermarket, simple t-shirt, hair tied back, speaking loudly in the bread aisle. She smiled at everyone. She asked for my name before we had even bumped into each other. "You have the face of someone who's lived here forever," she said, laughing. "I have," I replied, "and you have the face of someone who just got here and already knows the whole town." She let out a loud laugh. She called me charming, said her name was Bianca, and that she was trying to blend in with the locals. It was easy to talk to her, light, natural, but what got me wasn't the smile. It was the way she seemed to see me, as if I were interesting, as if I had value, something I hadn't felt in a long time. In the days that followed, we ran into each other by chance, several more times. The bakery, the town square, even in line at the bank. Always with something to say, always with her full attention. And I, foolishly, thought it was fate, until she sent me a message. Don't ask how she got my number. Probably from my cousin, who was working the checkout at the market the day we met. "I'm going to the bar downtown tonight. If you show up, will it be a coincidence?" I went, and that night we kissed. It was good, warm, too intense for something so new. But right there, everything felt right. She looked me in the eyes and said, "You have no idea how much I needed to find someone like you." And I, thirsty to be chosen, believed her. After that night at the bar, everything accelerated. Bianca didn't wait for the right time. And to be honest, I didn't want to hit the brakes either. We talked every day, texts, calls, dates, as if we'd already been together for months. And when we weren't together, she made sure to show me she was missing me. A good morning sticker, a selfie with a silly caption, a voice note saying she was counting the hours, and that fed me. After so long feeling invisible, being desired like that, it was like breathing again. But as the days went by, something started to catch my attention. Every man she crossed paths with became a friend in seconds. There were jokes, laughter, touches on the arm, that look that lasts half a second too long. And the women? The women didn't like her. It wasn't jealousy. It was something deeper. It was as if they saw something I couldn't yet see. A friend of my mother's even commented, "This new girl is quite the social butterfly, isn't she? Quick to make friends with men and to push women away." I laughed. I changed the subject. I said she was just very friendly, the type who lights up a room. But even as I said it, I was already trying to convince myself. Because little by little, I started to feel uncomfortable. Like something was wrong, but I couldn't name it. And every time that thought surfaced, I remembered her smiling, calling me special, telling me she'd never met anyone like me. And deep down, I was afraid. Afraid of ruining what finally seemed to be working out. So I did what many people do. I pretended not to see it, and I carried on. I don't know exactly when the doubt began. It wasn't a single event. It was the accumulation. A misplaced sentence. A comment that didn't add up. A 2-hour disappearance that made no sense. But it always came with affection. Bianca knew exactly when to smile, when to touch my arm, when to let out that, "You're everything I needed to find." And that scrambled everything. I felt lucky to have her, but at the same time, I was tired of trying to ignore what my gut was screaming at me. It happened at a Sunday lunch. She showed up in an outfit that was a little too flashy, even though she knew it was just the two of us. During the meal, she exchanged too many glances with a friend of mine, and when I mentioned it later, laughing, she got angry. "Wow, so now you're just like everyone else? I can't be friendly. This is who I am. If you don't like it, just say so." She turned the tables, as if I had done something wrong. I felt childish for even noticing, and that's when the doubt turned into guilt. I started to wonder if the problem was me, if I was insecure, jealous, too fragile. But after a while, I realized the feeling of being in the wrong didn't come from me. It came from the way she reacted whenever I tried to talk. The connection that seemed so easy at first. Now, it just made me anxious. But every time I thought about pulling away, she would come back with some line that would disarm me. "You scare me when you disappear. It makes me think you're going to leave me like everyone else has." And I would stay. Out of pity? Out of neediness? I don't know, but I stayed. And every day, the same question echoed inside me. Am I overreacting? Or am I being played for a fool? In a small town, nobody needs to say a word. The way they look at you is enough. I started to notice the glances. People who would look away when I approached. People who would laugh quietly after we walked by. A guy from my old soccer team even commented, with that voice of someone who doesn't want to offend, "So, things are serious with Bianca? She's lively, huh? Very sociable." I pretended to laugh, but it hit me in the gut because I knew what he was trying to say, and worse. I was starting to think the same thing. There was one time at a barbecue, she spent more time talking to other people than to me, laughing loudly, telling personal stories as if everyone there was an intimate friend. When I was driving her home, I commented, "Sometimes it feels like you need everyone's attention." She responded with a kiss on my neck. "No, just yours." And once again, I swallowed my discomfort. The worst part was seeing that the more I tried to convince myself it was all in my head, the more people seemed to see what I refused to acknowledge. My aunt mentioned it during a visit. "That girl is smart. She goes where the sun is shining. But listen, just be careful. Not everyone who smiles at you is on your side." I pretended to think she was exaggerating, but inside, it hurt because every sentence, every comment Every hint went straight to the wound I was pretending didn't exist. And the more the world talked, the more I stayed silent, as if admitting what I felt was admitting that I was losing. There comes a point when doubt turns to poison. It sleeps with you, it rides in your pocket, and it corrodes you from the inside out. I didn't trust her anymore, but I didn't want to judge without being certain. So, like a coward or like a desperate man, I decided to test her. I spoke to a friend of mine, the kind who doesn't judge, who knows your story from beginning to end, and who agreed to help me, even with a look on his face that said he just wanted to get me out of this. I arranged it with him, an invitation to go out just for a coffee, a light conversation, just to see how far she would go. Are you sure about this? He asked. No, but I need to know, because if I'm wrong, I'll never doubt anyone again. On the chosen day, I told Bianca I had to help my mom with something in another city. I made up an excuse. She replied with just a heart emoji. That night, my friend sent her a message. He got straight to the point. He commented on one of her stories and suggested, if you ever want to grab a coffee and chat, I'm around. She replied almost immediately. Coffee is a bit boring. There's a new little bar in the next town over. Ever been? When he told me, I just took a deep breath. Keep the conversation going. At that same moment, I called Bianca. Sorry I disappeared today. My mom wasn't feeling well, and I had to take her to my aunt's house. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon. She sighed. It's okay. I'll just be here, missing you like crazy. I said goodbye, hung up, and texted my friend. Save everything. He hesitated, but he agreed. Not for the plan, for our friendship. He sent me the screenshots of the conversation. Bianca was flirting, calling him fun, saying she needed to get out for a bit, that it had been a while since she'd felt that kind of good energy. The next day, the two of them met at that little bar. He told me later that she arrived all dressed up, confident, smiling, as if they'd known each other for weeks. Between drinks, she was the one who suggested, if you want, we could take this somewhere else. There's a motel just down the road. And that's when my friend texted me. Now, if you want to see, it's now. I went. I parked across the street. I waited a few minutes. When I walked in, her back was to me, a glass in her hand. My friend saw me first. He stood up and left without a word. She turned her head, smiling, and she saw me. And in that second, the smile died, fast, almost as if she, too, had discovered the truth right there. I didn't say a word. I just looked at her for a few seconds, and I walked away. And I walked away. Because in that moment, for the first time in a long time, I wasn't confused. I was free. A few years later, a lot had changed. I passed a civil service exam and was called to work in the capital. New life, new routine, different people. There, I met the woman I would marry. She was intelligent, calm, a true partner. We met at work. It started with respect and turned into love. No pressure, no manipulation. The right way. During a long weekend, we went to visit my mother. That evening, the three of us went out for dinner at a quiet restaurant in the next town over. We were seated when I realized I'd left my wallet in the car. I got up to get it, and it was on my way back that I saw Bianca. She walked toward me with a rehearsed smile, the same as always. The heavy makeup, The high heels, the tight dress, everything in place. But there was something different in her eyes. Effort. The effort to appear in control. Wow, you look great. I almost didn't recognize you. Are you living here again? No, just visiting my mom. I'm with her and with my wife. The word hit her hard. She froze for a second. The smile faltered, but it didn't fall. Oh, I see. She glanced over at the table, saw the two of them waiting for me. My mother just gave my wife a slight nod, as if to say, "Don't worry, he knows what he's doing." Bianca swallowed hard, took a deep breath, and tried her final card. Well, if you ever want to relive some memories, you know where to find me. I know, but I won't need to. She froze for a second. The smile vanished, but she tried to hold her pose. I gave a slight nod and returned to my table. I sat down, kissed my wife on the cheek, and continued our dinner in peace. Behind me, Bianca stood still for a moment. She didn't say another word, and I understood. She never expected to be rejected, not by me, not like that. But time collects its debts, and there are some things that, once lost, never come back. In a world where so many confuse affection with manipulation, this story shows that true victory isn't about making noise. It's about finding peace. Bianca played with the trust of others until she lost someone who wasn't playing. And when she tried to come back, she discovered that lost respect is not negotiable. He didn't retaliate. He didn't seek revenge. He simply walked away and rebuilt, because the silence of someone who has matured echoes louder than the promises of someone who never knew how to love. And you? Have you ever freed yourself from someone who only wanted you around when they thought they could control you? Comment below. Share this with someone who needs to wake up. And subscribe to Echoes of Temptation for more real stories about choices, falls, and deliverances.